Audio and video. Yep. Bam. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We are here on our owner spotlight with Omar Kassim of A Place at Home Palmetto, which opened this last year. So we've been talking to a lot of veterans, second years, late first years. This is a guy who just got into it in the last month or two and started hitting it. So Omar, welcome. We're going to share some experiences over the last couple months and talk about your story. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you for allowing me the time to share.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's start in your why and starting fresh. Question one. You spent more than 20 years in leadership roles. What made you pivot into senior care and choose A Place at Home?
Wow. I don't know if we have that kind of time, but I have to take you back 2 decades. So 2 decades of just leadership. Was fortunate to be in many servant roles. As we know, leadership is a servant position. And I came to a crossroads a couple of years ago, and I wanted to look at something different, something that just was more meaningful and purposeful. And when we came across senior home care, primarily A Place at Home, it made sense from day one. From that initial conversation that we had with Mitch, one call turned into more of a excited feeling of what's next on this next call that's coming up. And by the end of all of the discovery calls that we had with, yourself, Jared, Mitch at the very beginning, meet the team day, it was just, clear to me that this was the place we needed to be. The common thread is people. So from our leadership team to all of our coaches to the clients that we serve in the community, all of it just made a lot of sense. And it's a continuation, but for me now, this is more meaningful. It's more personal for me. And that's why I chose A Place at Home and this path, the second half of my life, my career.
New chapter, new beginnings. So
Beginnings.
And that's the thing about senior care. You got to have a reason why, and you got to want to do this business and make impacts. And I think after meeting you, it's definitely something that you wear on your sleeve and are ready to get going. So thanks for sharing that. Moving to Palmetto right before the pandemic, it must have been quite a transition. How did that influence your decision to open your agency here? What about Palmetto said, hey, this is a perfect spot for me to transition and start building something?
Yeah, so we moved to Palmetto 5 years ago, and the community was small then, and it's been growing ever since. It's really grown to a point now that, we're seeing a lot of families, a lot of the folks that are coming from up north. This is where they're coming to retire. Florida is in general, right? It's the retirement capital of the world, right?
25% seniors.
Yep. Sunshine, beaches, just a place to enjoy that part of your life. And Palmetto, primarily, we noticed pretty quickly that we wanted to provide a service, something that will, help families, help the seniors themselves to age in place. Wherever they call home, we want to be part of that journey with them for that part of their life. So the community made sense. The service is definitely needed. And we're just happy that we were, able to open up A Place at Home, this agency here in the community.
Nice. Awesome. Well, it's a bit, yes, Florida is like the mecca of retirement. There's a lot of people down there. What excites you the most about doing this business in that community? Like what gets you up every day and gets you out there?
Gets the juices flowing, right?
Yeah.
I will say families trusting us and us earning that privilege to come into their homes, to be able to sit down and for them to open up and tell us something that's very personal, near and dear. I found in a short period of time, people are very hesitant to ask for help, right? Especially our seniors. They're very prideful. They're proud. They've done a lot in their lifetime. And for them to ask for help it's not an easy thing. So when you finally get past that barrier and we're able to get into their homes and sit with the family, I feel like that's a privilege, that's an honor, that's a sacred space, that's private matters that they're discussing with us. And, I don't take that lightly. That's something, again, that we've had to earn. We've had to earn their trust to even get to that point of being welcome into their home. So that's what excites me. It's knowing that we are building and we're creating one memorable experience at a time. And, to be known as we move forward as, the agency known for care, compassion, empathy, and, just be able to provide what's needed for them, the right solution for what their needs are, I would say.
Yeah. Awesome. That's what got me going. It's you take care, you provide a service, right? But that's really the end game, is providing the service. The initial part is the solving the issues, right? A lot of families come to you in certain situations where they don't know what they're doing or what's happening or what options are available. And that's kind of what I've learned over the 15, 14 years of doing this, is there's a solution for every situation. You just got to find it. And that's what families are going to depend on you to know, right? So you'll learn. I mean, you're new. So right now, the good thing about being in a franchise, you have an entire system who's dealt with almost every situation. Eventually, you're going to learn to be the master of problem solving. Trust me. And it's not even the clients. You'll be learning caregiver problems as well.
Well, we call it being that subject matter expert or that advisor. Like you just said, there's so much out there. It can get mind numbing at times, and it's already a tense situation, a stressful situation with their loved one. So we want to be able to go in there and provide the education, kind of make sense of what's already out there, just kind of funnel it together and provide solutions. So at the end of the day, we're providing a solution. We're giving you options, and we're tailoring that to what best fits you through our unique care plans, individualized care plans. And that's what I like. There's not a one size fits all. There just can't be. Every situation is a little bit different. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head there.
You've just started, right? You got to build a team of caregivers. What is your approach at your first 5 caregivers? So a lot of people, and I'll ask you this way. A lot of people want to know, like, how many people do I hire if I don't have clients, and vice versa? How are you going about hiring and then holding them until you get those first couple clients?
Very good. Yes, that's a good question. So being that we're brand new and we're building our team, I currently have five caregivers on staff, right? My approach is basically to ensure we have a full roster of caregivers that are ready to go. Once we have clients that are ready to be taken care of. Ideally, you'd want to have, starting out, I would say you'd want anywhere between, I'd say easily, my goal is to get about 10 to 12 caregivers on my roster. And the way we handle that is, we go through, we interview our caregivers, applicants, I should say, and we just talk through and we let them know genuinely that, we're a brand new agency opened up here in Palmetto. We're currently building our care team. I call them care professionals, right? Because that's my approach and my view of our team is a care professionals. And, we want to be ready to service the community when the need comes. A lot of the folks that we have on our team now, they do currently have other jobs. They're excited about being part of a brand new agency in the community. And the way we retain them is, weekly updates. I keep everybody, well informed of where we're at, kind of, this is what we're doing. Here are the folks we're talking to, different ALFs, different, rehab facilities. So, the biggest thing is I just stressed to them that we're brand new, but we're having a lot of interest in the community right now. And my main focus is to get a small team of care professionals ready to go once we're called upon. And so far, everything has been good with the 5 that we have. They all live local, so they're part of the community now. So they're able to relate to those families when they do go into the homes. They know of all the local, let's say, festivals that are happening, the local grocery stores, the little diners that are around. So there's that relatable factor where they can talk to the clients that are in the home, and they could talk about things that are relevant in the community. And that makes like an instant connection with that team, between the team and the actual, family member that they're caring for.
Awesome. Absolutely. And just to elaborate, I mean, you're doing all the right things. What I used to do, and this might help too, is I used to treat, you remember the movie Jerry Maguire? I used to treat my
Show
first,
me the money. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to treat my first 3 while I was trying to get them clients like their agent. Like I knew their skills. I had like their profiles when I'd go into those client prospect meetings and be like, hey, and I remember them. Asia and Ashley were my first 2 caregivers. And I would go in and I'd say, Asia has experience in this and Ashley has experience in this. Both have similar person. Actually, they were both friends, to be honest. They both have similar personalities, and I'd sell them. And then finally be like, yeah, I'll take Ashley and Asia for sure. And then I got them placed with somebody. And then I had to hire another and then another and then another. And I just kept treating it like that. And then I had an active roster of about 15 plus caregivers, and that kind of opened it up for me to be flexible to move people around that needed to be moved around. So it's always the chicken before the egg, but as long as you stay in communication and let them know that you're working hard to get them their clients, that's how you retain them during that process. All right, so I'm gonna go on to the next one. What role do you see your agency playing in the broader Palmetto community beyond just client care?
Well, my goal is to be a educator in the community, a partner with other, um, businesses, whether it's rehab centers, community, being part of community events. We just want to be known as a partner, an educator within the community, and being known as the agency to go to for, quality care. That's ultimately what I'd like to see us, evolve into. Just be well known when they see a place at home, they see that logo that we are care. I want them to just connect that dot real quick and know that, that's the great team. That's Omar, his group. Let's give them a call. And again, so it's about client care, and that's obviously the number one priority. We want to make sure those families have a memorable experience. But as a whole, we just want to be well embedded into the community, and just support anywhere we can when it comes to partnerships and care overall.
Awesome. So, partners in crime. We're not just your care provider. We're going to help you figure it out, which then sets you apart. So now we're going to shift on to Palmetto and what sets you guys apart. What's something unique about your agency or the way you service families that you think sets you apart from other providers? What's your what approach are you taking that sets you apart?
Well, we've been talking a lot about, so 2 things. One, I would say our unique care plans that we develop for the actual family and their loved one that we're entrusted to care for. The other thing we were talking about, that I believe heavily in, is being able to provide a rapid response, coverage for, let's say, a caregiver calls out. We can fill that shift, within a 30-minute mark, to ensure that somebody will be there to take care of your loved ones. So from just looking around and kind of doing some research myself, I don't see or haven't heard anybody really speak to that piece. And I think that could be a huge game changer, or at least a differential amongst everybody else in our community, that's offering, we call it the same services. But, I think that's key, because this is not something you can just leave that loved one unattended. We want to have a group of folks that are readily available, can cover that overnight, that late night shift, that weekend shift that at times can tend to go uncovered, right? Somebody calls out, things happen, life happens, but we want to be able to provide that assurance that we do have a rapid response team that's ready to go, and we can get there within that 30-minute mark.
Nice. Rapid response. The newer the agency, the more time you have. So that if you can pick up that phone, be there in that hour or two upon starting care. I used to call them hospice Fridays. Families would get stressed out. It's Friday, 3:00, and the phone would ring. I need someone to start tomorrow. It's like, okay. You could either shut down or say, I'll pass that off, or you can respond and go get it. So I remember those days. If someone asked, why should I choose a place at home Palmetto? What's your answer?
Well, I would say that one thing that you will ultimately, at the very beginning, is you're going to deal with myself as being the owner of a place at home Palmetto. I believe in personalized one-on-one connection with the actual families and the actual client that we'll be taking care of. So personalization, again, our unique care plans that we developed with our nurse oversight would be another thing that you would mean a lot to you, to have that peace of mind, knowing, again, go back to that one size fits all. It's not a one size fits all. It's very personalized. Also, I can confidently say that with this, the support and the resources that we have, within our organization, that there's not a whole lot that we are not able to do. Every situation is unique, but we do have a depth of resources and support that we can provide, and ensure that your loved one is well taken care of.
Awesome. That's a good answer. The owner is in charge. Owners involved is the key to when you're new. So that's great. Support and growth. You ready for support and growth?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Starting a business can feel overwhelming. How has the franchisor's support helped you through the launch?
Wow. So I will tell you that the corporate team, from yourself, we'll start with Mitch and Danny and yourself and Jared. I can go on, right? So team's been phenomenal. In my previous roles, previous first half of my career, I will tell you that being part of corporate America, I've seen everything imaginable when it comes to support and it comes to resources. And I will tell you that you guys have really got it down. I know that didn't happen overnight. It took a while to get to this point today. But for me, personally speaking, support's always been there. I like the fact that we have coaches. We have coaches that you could pick up the phone and call at any point in time. We have Delight Tree, which is a resource center that we can go and access 24/7, anything that we do need. So I can tell you that I am thoroughly impressed and happy with the level of support. You're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. And that is a wholeheartedly true statement. I've never felt once that I was alone. Even when I was getting a little sidetracked, you guys were there. You called, and I was dealing with Shane. I've spoken to Jennifer. Like, there's support. You're just not thrown there after training and you're like, well, go after it. You guys are step
Sort
of the
of.
ways.
Go get it. Then you
Yeah,
lose us after a couple months.
but you guys are there. You guys are there. You guys are there to talk us off the ledge. You guys are there to, be real with us. Tell us first year's chaos. Like, that's etched in my mind from before training. You kept saying that, and it's true. It is true. It could be overwhelming, and it is at times, but at the end of the day, you keep your purpose right in front of you, why you got into this. And then having one-on-ones with our coaches weekly, and even peer owners. There are peer owners that I connected with from the very beginning, even before I went through training. And to this day, they still text, they call, they just want to check up on you and see how you're doing, offer advice. So between all of that and we can go on and on about all the endless types of resources that are available. We're set up for success. We just have to go out and do it and execute it.
Awesome. You'll do it. You'll get there. If you could give your future self, Omar, in 2028, which is 3 years from now, a piece of advice today, what would it be?
Wow.
I got one.
2028. You pushed me out, huh? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I would say, stay true to your beliefs. Stay true to why you started doing this. Tune out the noise. Don't let things get in your way that starts to make you second guess or get into the weeds on things that really are out of your control. Control what you can. Listen, absorb, apply, and just stay true to the process. Trust the process. At the end of the day, if you trust the process and just be patient and understand your first year is going to be chaotic, because that's a true statement. I think you get past that stuff. And I try to be a positive person no matter what I do, right? So you keep the positivity, trust the process. You will be just fine. You will,
Yep.
And I think if I could flash forward, I'd tell myself that in 2028, if I had to start all this all over again. So
trust me, you got small problems, you got big problems. When 3 years from now, you're going to have big problems, like not like big problems, like big agency problems, completely different set of challenges. Like you got to find the joy. Like right now, you're joyous, you're new, you're young, you're an adolescent, you're running around doing crazy things, right? 3 years from now, you're going to be like, man, I'm stressed out. I'm managing 50 to 60 caregivers with my team. My team's doing this. I have this fire. I have this with this. I have this with that. And it's like, man, then you got to start finding the joy again. I see it all the time. So it's a cycle. Business is a cycle. And that's why people do it. And if everyone could do it, they would do it. But not everyone can do what you do. So just remember that. That's my advice to you. And remember this time 3 years from now. Right? Like when I look back 13 years ago, man, if you're to say, would you do it all over again? There's probably years where I said no. And there's probably years that I said, heck yeah. And right now, I love everything I do today. Right. But you always got to find the joy in what you do. So, and even I today still need to find that, so it's an ever going thing. But with that, leadership philosophy. What's the leadership philosophy you're going to carry from your career and hopes to inspire your team here once your team is built?
Leading with empathy.
Okay.
And I think you touched on that at the very beginning. I tend to wear that on my sleeve. And some may view that as a weakness. I've thoroughly embraced that. And I think with my past career managing larger teams with 300 plus people at one time, right? It's getting to know people and just really connecting with them. So people matter at the end of the day. This is a people business. Speaking on the business side of it, this is a people business, but I would say just lead with empathy, stay true to who you are. Leadership wise, open door policy, I'm here. I want us to communicate. Communication is going to be key. There's nothing that's going to go on that we can't solve together as a team. As the word teams is spelled, there's no I in team. I'm no bigger than anybody on this team. We're working together. We're a family. We spend more time together, right, than we do with our own families. We'll be spending more time with other families. So at the end of the day, I just want you to know that speaking as a leader to my team, that I'm here for you, right? And we're going to go through this together. Whatever you need, I'm here. Let's talk through it. We can solve it together. We can move forward.
100%. Good philosophy. All right, we got the fun wrap up. You ready for some rapid fire questions?
Rapid fire. Let's go.
All right, morning person or night owl?
Oh, morning for
Really?
sure.
I'm not a morning.
I I am very restless past 5 a.m. So I have to get up, and I actually like the quiet early morning, so I could just be to myself, got my coffee, go out on the porch, just enjoy the calm, gather my
Sure.
thoughts, plan my day. But the downside is early afternoon, I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting to feel it, but
Tired.
I can't, I can do, I'm not a night owl. There's no way.
See, I'm opposite. I'm a night owl. I can't. I drag in the morning. I mean, that's why I have 3 shots of espresso in the morning to get me going. So I drag, and then I'm up till like midnight. So, but I always have good ideas when laying in. Sometimes I just lay in bed, think. All right. Favorite Florida pastime? Beach day or boating, or what's your favorite Florida pastime?
Oh, wow. I would say early in my day, we lived in South Florida, so in Miami itself, and we would go out boating probably every few weekends. We'd be out on a boat, jet skiing, boating. But since we moved to Southwest Florida, we've got a lot of great beaches, easily accessible. So we spend a lot of our time, on the beach. Family likes to do shelling, so we collect
Yeah.
shells. Wife does a lot of creative things with those, but yeah, sometimes we get out there bright and early, 7:30, 8 a.m. It's just calm. You hear the water. Sun is not fully out yet, it's not overly crowded. So I would say at this stage in life, we like early mornings, beach time, you
Awesome.
know?
And I can attest to your wife's creativity. She made me a nice little sea salt actually on my desk at my house. So,
Uh,
um, very fun. My kids play with it though, and they always touch it.
oh.
What's one word? I'm gonna switch this up. What's one word your wife would use to describe you? Curveball.
Oh man, you're only giving me one word to give you?
Yeah,
Jeez.
one
All
word.
right. One word. Well, driven,
Driven.
driven. Once I
Awesome.
made my mind up on something, um, I'll work on it night and day. Sometimes I'm overly obsessed with it because I want us to be the best. In this case, talking about a place at home, I want us to be the best out there. I want us to not only talk the talk, but walk the walk, right? This
Sure.
means a lot to me, my family. And at the end of the day, we just want to ensure that we are delivering the best that we can to this community and to our folks. We're talking about caring for people. So I hold that near and dear to my heart, right? We tell our team all the time, put yourself in that situation. Would you allow that type of care for your parents, your loved ones? Would you allow yourself to allow that to happen? So driven has always been something that's been used to describe me even in my prior life.
Sure.
I try to always give 110%. And I know that's very cliche, but I will tell you that, the amount of hours that I would put into doing whatever I set my mind to um, has rendered good results. And the biggest thing for me is I put a lot of time into people because what we're doing, especially now, we have to invest in the people. The people are taking care, our teams are taking care of the clients, right? So
Hmm.
we invest in them, we take care of them because guess what? They're gonna take care of the folks that we've been entrusted with. So
Awesome. Well, hey, driven is one thing that you need in this business. So again, we talked about it before. As long as you wake up every day and go, man, hit that play button, you'll be good to go. Last one. If you weren't running a senior care agency, what's another career you could see yourself enjoying?
Hmm. So I did contemplate at one
NASCAR
point.
driver.
Yeah, we'll get a wrapped a place at home NASCAR. That would be cool, right? So, well, I did contemplate at one point opening up a consulting business for small to medium-sized businesses. So people process efficiency. I contemplated that. I still, in the back of my mind, I feel like I can still bring aspects of that to our business. Also, a coach. I like coaching. I like mentoring, um, life coach. These are all things that I could possibly see myself doing, or would have seen myself. It's not completely out of the question. Again, I
Well,
still
good.
feel
Once you grow your business,
once I grow my business.
well, once you grow to 3, 2, 4, 5 million, we'll find a buyer, and then you can come work over at corporate and be a coach and do everything I do every day. Talk people off ledges and keep pushing them to be great.
I'm going to save this.
You can do that.
I'm going to save this and play this back for you. Okay. So don't say something you don't mean. So.
You can have Shane's job. Shane will he'll be older. He'll be ready to retire.
Well, let's not age him out too fast. So
no, I won't. Actually, I'm going to play this one online for sure. Write that down, Marianne. Cut that and put it in front of Shane. He's retiring in 5 years when Omar's big. So, well, Omar, I appreciate the time, man. Any advice you give it? Last one I always ask this. It wasn't on the sheet, but any advice you give to anybody looking in the senior care business, in particularly a place at home?
I would tell you that if you're thinking about getting into the senior home care business, first and foremost, be prepared to work hard. You're going to work hard. It's going to test you in all levels. It will really unveil, I would say, your desires to want to serve others, lead with empathy. I would say choose a place at home, take a strong look at a place at home. As we did, there's a lot of other companies out there doing what we are doing. But what drew us and what made us want to connect is our leaders, our 2 leaders up top. They're personable. We didn't feel like we would get lost in the system and just be another number. Being able to connect with you guys, you and Jared, meant a whole lot to me from the very get-go. And I knew that as we are growing, we wanted to be at that level that we're going to grow with the company. So we didn't want to get lost in the weeds and just be another franchisee number. So for anybody looking, I would say give a place at home a serious look. Take the time, get to know the guys, get to know that whole team. And I think you too will see that this could be a place where you could settle and be part of the family.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Thank you, FL45. I really appreciate that.
So you remember the numbers.
Now we're going to turn in eventually, like 5 years from now, it's going to be a James Bond. I'll be like, hey, 07, where are you?
We're going to have earpieces. You're going to be sending instructions into us.
Where's 101 at? All right. What's your name again? Who doesn't matter what your name is. Get out there and do some selling.
Oh my God. That's too funny. Too funny, sir.
All right, man. Okay. Well, get out there, enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend, and keep working hard.
Yes, sir. You as well, sir. Take care. Thank you for the time.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Bye now.